The topic I did my research on is women in the 20th century design. I chose this topic as I wanted to find out more about the struggles of being a woman designer during this time period and how it's changed to this century. During World War II, women had opportunities to participate in paid work out of home as they had to fuel the economy. But during the 1950s, as the war came to an end, women were expected to stay at home to raise children. Charlotte Perriand and Mary Featherston were some examples of pioneers who led the way for women designers. Charlotte Perriand was born on the 24th of October 1903 in Paris, France, and passed away on the 27th of October 1999 in Paris, France. She was a pioneering French designer and architect who was known for her iconic 20th century furniture. During 1920 and 1925, Perriand studied furniture design at the School of the Central Union of Decorative Arts. One of her teachers during that time was Art Deco interior designer Henry Rapin. She furthered her education by attending department store classes that provided design workshops. The word modern means to be of the present time, to look forward, not backwards, which is seen in Perriand's work through the use of truth materials, modern industrial materials, form follows function, and following the less is more concept. These principles are seen in her work through the use of the following materials: bark, shells, pebbles, steel, wood, and aluminium. Her furniture pieces are simple, comfortable, and easy to use. During the 20th century, women were expected to stay at home, cook, clean, and look after the children. But Perriand went against society's rules and succeeded in a male-dominated world. She developed a vision of nature, modernity, the environment, the changing role of women, and the transformation of society, which didn't reject the past, but always turned toward the future, said the president of the Fondation Louis Vuitton. She also contributed to the definition of New Art de Vivre. New Art de Vivre is a combination of several elements that represent the history and culture of France, and that represent taste, aesthetics, a sense of detail, and the discipline in all its forms: cultural, social, and so on. Perriand contributed to the ongoing development of design through having exhibitions in Japan, Vietnam, and Paris, showing her work to inspire others, especially women. She was a pioneer and always encouraged women to pursue their chosen careers, even if they dominated by males. Fondation Louis Vuitton opened an exhibition in recognition of Perriand and to inspire other female designers. Even though the 20th century was a male-dominated world in the work department, Perriand soldiered on and made plenty of great achievements. One of her biggest achievements was overcoming gender stereotypical obstacles, such as when she was working for Le Corbusier. There were several famous furniture pieces of the 20th century in which she was mainly responsible for creating, and most of those designs are still seen all over the world, such as the boxy club chairs and the chaise lounge. An achievement of Perriand's that's not furniture related was that she published an autobiography called Charlotte Perriand, A Life of Creation, in 1998, a year before she died. During Perriand's lifetime, she created several pieces of furniture, such as the chaise lounge, ombre chair, swivel chair, cassandra table, grand comfort chair, and the reclining chair. The chaise lounge is made of steel and leather. The interesting shape of the chair is meant to represent the human body. The ombre chair, made in 1954, is made of oak plywood. It was cut, folded, and curved to represent the Japanese origami tradition. The swivel armchair, designed in 1927, is made out of tubular steel and polyester upholstery. In 2016, the structure of the chair was updated, which led to it obtaining the Italian CATAS certification. The Cassandra table was made in 1953 out of laminated wood with a formica top and an iron structure. The table was made to be stackable with other Cassandra tables. She proved that modern design could be visionary and efficient, as well as comfortable, elegant, and intimate, said Paolo Antonelli, Senior Curator of Architecture and Design at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. Another work of Perriand's is that during 1993 and 1999, she worked at Foundation Louis Vuitton, where she created an exhibition called Inventing a New World. In 1941, she staged an exhibition called Selection, Tradiat, Creation in Tokyo. In 1946, Perriand returned to France, revived her career as an independent designer, and began a collaboration with Jean Prouvé. One of her most important works that started her career was when she joined forces with Le Corbusier and Jeanneret. She led the way and inspired designers, especially women designers. During the 20th century, when males were the working force and women were like maids and nannies, it was hard for women to work as there were a lot of barriers and obstacles in their way. During the 1920s, women designers were seen as victims. Their talent was concealed by their male counterparts. Perriand tried to break down that barrier to prove that she is talented. The first time she applied to work for Le Corbusier, she was rejected with the following response: "We don't embroider cushions here," as during that time she was mostly known for her embroidery designs. From a modern-day perspective, this would be regarded as sexist. He was undermining her talent and abilities because she's a woman. Another barrier Perriand faced was in 1928 when she designed 3 chairs: the B301 slingback chair, LC2 Grand Comfort chair, and the B306 chaise lounge. With Le Corbusier and Perry Jeanneret, even though she created the details, construction, and the actual design alongside Pierre, she didn't get recognition for the projects, leaving the males front and center. LC2 Grand Comfort chair and the B306 chaise lounge. With Le Corbusier and Perry Jeanneret, even though she created the details, construction, and the actual design alongside Pierre, she didn't get recognition for the projects, leaving the males front and center. Mary Featherston was born in 1943 in Shirley, England, and migrated to Australia with her parents in 1952. She is an Australian interior designer and designer of child-friendly learning environments. She's best known for her furniture design solo and also with her husband Grant Featherston, as well as her designs on educational spaces for children. Featherston has been an influence in the design world in Australia since the 1950s. As an interior designer, she was interested in feminist design, the history of pedagogical play, and the establishment of learning environments for children. She studied interior design at RMIT from 1960 to 1964. After finishing her studies, she worked at Mockridge, Stahl and Mitchell Architects. From 1965 to 1995, Mary and her husband Grant formed a joint partnership. The role and influence of women designers have changed in today's society to a point. The design world today is no longer male-dominated, but in some instances, women are still struggling financially and basically for gender equality. Mary Featherston is one of many female designers that show how gender equality has changed since the 20th century as she makes her own designs and has made a name for herself as an independent designer. In conclusion, both Charlotte Perriand and Mary Featherston are pioneering women, as they are imaginative, daring, lively, and they sparked creativity, all characteristics of a pioneer. Even though Perriand was working in a male-dominated industry and wasn't acknowledged, she still strived to be the best and worked hard. The world is still changing, and gender equality is still ever changing. I believe Perriand started to get the ball rolling for gender equality in the design world.